Marketing, merchandising, product, and engineering teams are using dynamic yield to quickly build, personalize, and optimize their digital experiences with amazing results. And now, through the Experience Optimization Platform's free benchmarking tool, which aggregates data from over 300 leading brands like Urban, Sephora, and Brooklinen, Total Retail Talks listeners like you can compare conversion KPIs with some of the best in e-commerce. Powerful insights await at dynamicyield.com/benchmarks.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail, and I am joined on today's episode by Harry Temkin, the Vice President of Seller Experience at eBay. Harry and I are going to discuss a little bit about the growth of Recommerce in the last year or so and the impact that it's had on eBay's business. So thank you for joining me, Harry.
No, thanks very much. Great to be here, Joe.
So to get us started, I thought it would be a good idea for some context for the audience. I think everyone's familiar with eBay, but more specifically, I'm interested in your role at the company. Tell us a little bit about your job at eBay.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joe. So as head of seller experience, my team is responsible for all of the tools and APIs that enable our sellers to onboard and manage their inventory on the platform. So that's a wide range of things, obviously. We provide different types of analytics that help them understand the performance of their store, if you will, of their inventory as they sell it. We provide them other analytics to help them with guidance on the quality of their listing as well as pricing of their listing. And then we also build several different types of tools that help to drive conversion. So ultimately, our mission is to help our sellers be as efficient as possible, to help them drive more conversion and grow their business profitably on the platform.
So that's some great insight into your role and your team's work at eBay. So, and it leads nicely into my next question, Harry, in terms of eBay recently conducted a survey of its marketplace sellers to kind of better understand their motivations during the past 12 months. Do you want to identify some of the key findings to emerge from that survey?
Yeah, sure. I'd say that Recommerce has been a triple win. And what do I mean by that? Well, one is it benefits buyers. It also benefits our sellers. And at the end of the day, it benefits the planet. It's good for the environment. And, buying pre-owned keeps products in circulation longer, which means it's keeping them out of landfills. It provides great value to our buyers. So, if they come and buy certified refurb on the platform, they're getting a great product at, an economical price compared to, say, brand new. And it ultimately creates an avenue of economic opportunity for everyone, which is and always been eBay's purpose. If you think about it, a crazy number, but almost 90% of the respondents in the US said they had sold something pre-owned in the last 12 months. I mean, that's an incredible
statistic.
That's
pretty stark, yeah.
And if you think about it also, just as it relates to COVID, 72% that were surveyed started selling pre-owned items to earn extra income during this time. So, just an incredible stat. I think, again, particularly the younger generation who is growing up in a world of recognizing global warming and sustainability and the importance of protecting the environment, they're recognizing that, buying and selling pre-owned goods is, not only great, say from an economic standpoint, but also just in terms of how it benefits the environment.
So it's really interesting, and that this whole idea of Recommerce that you're talking about, and what you're seeing from your sellers on the eBay platform, how does that then translate? What are kind of the implications based on that on the eBay marketplace's business? I would imagine you're acquiring more sellers as people start to sell some of their own things, and this Recommerce trend becomes even more popular. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've seen on the eBay business and kind of the implications of as Recommerce becomes more and more of a thing for consumers.
Yeah, and I think, clearly, the findings highlight the importance and the increasing interest in buying and selling pre-owned goods. And if you think about the roots of eBay, right, when Pierre started the company over 25 years ago, it he started the company by selling a broken laser pointer, something that somebody else didn't want. And here we are today with over 1.5 billion listings on the platform. So think about, you start with a broken laser pointer, and now you've got over 1.5 billion items. And the values have really remained the same. I mean, he believed that people are good. He wanted to bring the power of technology to people, literally to bring tools to the community to facilitate this. And when you think about, empowering people and creating economic opportunity, the cool thing is that we're also doing that to help protect the environment, right? So, I think for buyers and sellers, when they're coming to the platform, it's not just about, finding a unique item or selling unique item, but they get to do that in an environmentally conscious way. And I think that's and I think that's what's really neat. And again, that just hasn't changed in terms of the way Pierre thought about the company when he started it and where we are today.
So when we think about Recommerce, and you noted that it's become this growing trend both among your sellers and your buyers at eBay. So we've talked a little bit about kind of the impact at eBay. How do you think this might potentially impact other retailers and brands? And is there opportunities for more brands to sell on eBay? Tell us a little bit about kind of more of a holistic viewpoint on how you think Recommerce can impact the industry.
No, totally. And, going back to this theme of, economic opportunity for all, I mean, clearly, the study's shown that selling pre-owned goods has just become, really popular recently. And again, a lot of it because people are thinking about, sustainability. And again, 72% of the sellers in the US said they started selling pre-owned items as an extra income stream. So, the economic impact is there. And clearly, with the pandemic as well, almost 15% of those respondents said they specifically started selling pre-owned items as extra income, or even because they lost their job, due to COVID-19. But again, this concept of sustainability also comes into play. And when we think about the impact to retailers and brands, I mean, one of the cool things is we really took a very serious and have had a significant focus on certified refurb and seller refurb. And, we onboarded a lot of brands who gave us, brought on certified refurb. We've actually, have dedicated parts of the site directly on the homepage that take you to certified refurb, also part of our daily deals. And I have to tell you that, it emerged as the top trending category for eBay holiday shoppers last year. We actually, so much so, we sold out a lot of items from many brands in that category. And the other thing that I would say, which is really a cool feature of eBay, which is also I think been very beneficial to our sellers, is not only has it been create economic opportunity and is protecting the environment, but because we've made it incredibly easy to donate to charity when you list, a lot of our sellers have taken that economic opportunity to benefit these charities. And I can tell you that last year, we broke a record for charitable contributions and went over $123 million globally. So, I mean, just, taking one step back for a second, I mean, it's not just about, the personal economic opportunity, but so many of our sellers recognized how many organizations were in need during COVID. And the fact that eBay makes that incredibly easy, it's fully integrated into the listing process to give a portion or all of the value of the sale to the charity. You easily select the charity with matches in there. Again, it just allowed our sellers to, take that opportunity and pass it on to organizations that were greatly in need.
Yeah, that's great to see. And to your larger point, I think it's indicative of what we're seeing a lot from consumers nowadays is that there's so much out there. There's so much choice out there for them that they want to make decisions and buying decisions and do business with brands and retailers that they feel kind of have a common alignment in terms of their values and their, their missions. And you've talked about this with the sustainability initiatives at eBay, your charitable work that you just talked about. Is that something that you see happening a lot and kind of you guys have tapped into at eBay?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we've brought on a lot of brands, again, a lot of sellers have come on that, specifically sell for charitable organizations and, to help with food pantries, all kinds of things that we've seen. And again, we've made that really, really easy to do, to onboard these sellers. We've created specific categories to make it easy to describe, in terms of certified refurb and grading conditions and the like. So it is just something that we are very focused on in these particular verticals to make it easy for sellers to onboard and bring that inventory along with it, to expose it in unique ways. And again, provide them economic opportunity and in other cases, opportunity, for these charitable organizations.
So let's, and I think you touched on in that just a previous answer, Harry, but I wanted to follow up in terms of the trend of recommerce and then how eBay is positioning its business to better tap into that trend. And, the seller experience, making it as easy as possible for your sellers to get their products up on the marketplace.
Yep.
The buyer experience, making that, an enjoyable and easy experience for them. As some of those ways that you're kind of looking to make this trend of recommerce an easier, purchase decision and selling process for your sellers as well?
Oh, totally, totally. So, a couple of things there technology wise for our sellers. One is at the very, very beginning, we talked about, my role and my team's role, and I talked about, price guidance. So we have a very advanced set of tools with regards to sourcing insights and pricing guidance. So this enables our sellers to, number one, look for sourcing opportunities where there's incredible demand and it's outweighing supply. So it highlights those for them, again, with potential opportunities in different categories where they could potentially source goods that are in high demand and get good turnover and conversion rates on the platform. We also then provide them with the price guidance tools so they understand, what the margin is going to be, how much can they get for that product. And if you think about, the number of unique items, I mean, that is what eBay is known for, right? It's really important, when you find a particular, it could be a collectible item, just something that is unique. Inevitably, we most likely have guidance on that, right? It's been sold before on the platform. And so, we can help the seller understand how to price that competitively and understand, what the potential margin is going to be.
Yeah, give that historical data to your sellers.
Exactly right. And I could go through so many sellers, with examples of things that you would just be surprised by. Like, we have a particular seller on the platform here, local in the area, who sells, mainly hubcaps. And it's fun to see him post when he goes to source, right? Because he goes to junkyards, which inevitably many of that stuff you may never get sold. Is it going to get recycled or does it land in a landfill? But he, the platform provides him the opportunity to go source these hubcaps that a buyer can't find anywhere else because they're probably unique to a vehicle that is hard to find now. And here he is being able to, recommerce them essentially, right? To go get them out of a yard that is, not probably something that's good for the environment, and be able to get them on the platform and turn that into an economic opportunity and to, fill the need of a buyer on the platform. Another seller has got 7,000 manuals on the platform of outboard motors from various years and various companies, which, you think, where those sit, where are those going to go, right? And yet there's a need for those. I myself sell videotapes on the platform. I know you might say, oh my gosh, is there a market for videotapes? And I have a really cool collection from the 80s and 90s, well over 100 movies. And, most likely you probably think they're just going to go in a landfill. But the platform gives me the opportunity. Now, albeit, they're not going to sell for that much money, but I sell one here or there, right? So there's somebody out there who wants them. And that's a great thing, because instead of going into a landfill, right, they're going to someone who has an interest in that movie and is going to get the pleasure of being able to obtain it through the platform.
It's really interesting. And the platform has become a great source for these hard to find products. But to your point, there's not only the economic benefit to the seller, but they're also doing the environmental good of not sending these products to a landfill. And it's also fun for the buyer and seller. You're able to find these unique and collectible items
Oh,
that, so I imagine it's a lot of fun as
let me
well.
tell you, I mean, we talk about, sparking unexpected joy. I mean, that's what we do. We create a marketplace that brings people together and creates that unexpected joy. I want to give you an example, a personal example. Sort of my hobby is I have a 1983 classic Jeep CJ7 in excellent condition. I actually bought it through eBay Motors. I have kept it pristine. And in order to do that, you need original parts. They are not easy to find. And actually this one particular part, the driver's side adjustable, this piece that connects the springs to make the seat adjust, broke. And I literally was like, oh my, how am I going to fix this? There's no way. I just can't go to a new Jeep dealership and get that part. I went on to the platform, of course. I didn't even know how to describe the thing. And I just typed in connector for driver's side Jeep. Guess what? It popped up the exact part that I needed from this seller. And let me tell you the joy in that, right?
Yeah.
Like I found exactly what I needed. And that is why eBay is an iconic company. It's so special when that happens, and it happens on an everyday basis. And, back to this whole Recommerce thing, one thing I want to talk about with technology as well is, hey, what we really want are buyers to become sellers. We want that flywheel, right? I mean, it's incredible lifetime value of the customer when they do that. And that's exactly what we're seeing, is that buyers then want to go resell things that they bought before. We want to make that really easy to do. So, what we're building into the platform are ways, when you go to your My Purchases, literally to have a button right there that will just relist the item automatically for you. And to also be able to indicate to buyers what things are trending that they might have bought previously. So take an example. Maybe they bought an Xbox, right? Or a PlayStation. And then the hottest, newest one comes out, right? And of course, they're super expensive. They're really high demand, but there are people who would still love to have the previous version. So we know that, PlayStation or Xbox is trending. We can actually then, tell the buyer that, hey, we saw that you bought a PlayStation 4 before. They're hot right now, right? The resale market for the PlayStation 4 is really hot. You should think about selling it. And here's the average going price, right? That's where the sourcing insights and that's where the price guidance come in. So we can make this really easy to get Recommerce flying, right? Because the system can tell the buyer what's trending, what potential things they could sell, particularly if they have those things around the house and what's trending. So these are all the kinds of tools that we're beginning to build and put into the platform. And we recently just talked about image recognition software. So, with trading cards, we want to make it super easy to list trading cards. And literally now you can just hover your camera over a particular trading card, in this case, Magic the Gathering, right? The collectible card games. It recognizes that card, literally in seconds, knows exactly how to match that up to a product in the catalog, pre-fills almost the entire listing, provides the price guidance to the seller so they get an idea of where they can sell the item at. And literally, you've got this listing up and it's ultra fun. I mean, you're sitting there literally, putting the camera on multiple cards and telling you how much they're worth, and you're listing them. And so we're really investing in the technology. When you hear our CEO, Jamie, talk about a tech-led reimagination, these are the types of things that we're talking about. How do we make it easier to do Recommerce, right? How do we make it easier to list on the platform in these really hot vertical categories?
Yeah, and it speaks to your point of making the experience a positive one. And that'll attract more sellers, also attract more buyers. The more sellers you have offering products the consumers are interested in, then the buyer audience will follow. Which leads me into my final question. So just kind of looking ahead a little bit, how do you see the behaviors of marketplace, both sellers and buyers, potentially evolving as we kind of move into, hopefully sooner rather than later, a post-pandemic environment?
Yeah, I mean, look, the pandemic clearly brought a lot of new and reactivated buyers, to our marketplace. And, these buyers are maturing like every other cohort. And I don't think that they're one and done buyers, who are only coming to buy, say, things like hand sanitizer, right? Or a mask. And so, we're really leaning in to these buyers in terms of, tactics to retain them and ensure they continue to have a great experience when they're on the site. And so, and I think that's happening, right? I mean, they're recognizing, and as we've seen through COVID, it is well beyond just those particular things. These buyers are realizing the breadth of the inventory that we have on the platform. And whether it's, things like certified refurb or it's the most unique items, they're recognizing just how much incredible inventory and content that we have. And then, making it easy to then sell items, get that flywheel going is, I think, what is attracting them and retaining them.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Harry Temkin of eBay for joining us today on Total Retail Talks and telling us a little bit about eBay strategy in terms of Recommerce and the growth of the platform in that area. So thank you for joining me today, Harry.
And thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Track e-commerce trends and glean insights based on real consumer activity using Dynamic Yield's benchmarking tool. Start exploring today at dynamicyield.com/benchmarks.